Okay, hey, welcome everybody. This is our BSP University call. I'm Rob Kosberg, and like we do every week, we take the first 5 or 10 minutes and we talk about what is really working for somebody in their business using their best-selling book specifically. And pretty excited because I have Dr. Amir Baluch with us. And Amir, am I saying your last name right?
Amir Baluch.
Baluch.
Yeah, I've heard
Thank
it
you.
in different ways, but that's pretty close.
Beautiful. So I have Dr. Amir Baluch with us, and his book right here, Make It, Keep It, The New Rules of Wealth Preservation for Doctors. We published and launched that to international bestseller, and now working on your PR, which is pretty exciting. I know you're going to be coming out to LA sometime soon, so we'll be able to have lunch together. And so Amir has been using his book. He's done hundreds of millions in real estate transactions, kind of his side hustle, using Gary Vee's language, right? Because you're an anesthesiologist in your spare time.
Wow. Spare time these days, but yeah.
Exactly. And you've been using your book to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars from doctors, building their trust and that sort of thing. So I'd love to kind of just hand it over to you. If you could tell us how you've been using the book, how the book has helped you to both build trust with these doctors and obviously to, get people to give you checks, six-figure checks, is pretty significant. So let me hand it over to you. You take it away and share with the group how you've been using it.
Yeah. So just a quick background on me. I do anesthesia. I tried to get into real estate early on when I was 21, 22, and now I'm at the point where I can put deals together, but of course that requires some capital. And start working with a private investment group, and I have a securities license. So I was actually getting commission by raising money. That's how it started. But now I want to go off on my own and fund my own deals, not somebody else's. So I was trying to figure out, how come people have such a hard time raising capital? I would just ask people, hey, why are you investing with me and not doing something online or whoever else is asking you for money? And in the end, they just really feel that they trust me. And so I'm trying to figure out, well, how can I make them trust me more? Do I show transparency? Should I, make myself an influencer in the space? Do I need to write a book? And, especially for doctors, when you publish, like, even the way I got into my private practice group, I published a lot of papers, and that makes it at least seem like I know what I'm doing if I publish papers on anesthesia. So I'm like, well, let me publish a book on real estate and investing, especially in a space where a lot of people don't understand some of the basics. So it hits so hard. It's like, a lot of people hand out business cards and they don't get a call back. But let me tell you, when I hand out my book instead of a business card, they just can't stop talking about it. They flip through the pages. They don't believe that it actually happened. And then they read it, and then they start bringing me, their own business deals, or say, hey, how do I get involved in real estate? They might even be doing real estate deals and they're confused. They'll bring it to me and I can at least broker it or maybe partner with them. So, but for sure, like, if other people ask them for the money, they don't have a book. They're just the fact that I have the book and I wrote the book on it. These guys are leaning toward me, even with, people they have their own net worth over $500 million. I'm actually competing with those kind of people that are raising money, and I'm actually winning some of their clients.
Nice.
So that trust is so important when you're raising capital and being known as the expert. Not only does it allow me to raise capital easier, but also it's actually bringing more opportunity to me, because now people are just looking at me as an expert for anything involving money. They're bringing me all kinds of business deals and opportunities. So I don't even know what to do with all this opportunity. I'm just trying to stay focused.
What a terrible problem to have, right?
But it is really cool. So, and I like it a lot. In fact, I haven't told you this, Rob, but I'm actually planning on really doing some hardcore branding on the phrase "Make It, Keep It," and do a series. So it might be "Make It, Keep It." The first series might be the ultimate guide to asset protection. Another one might be the ultimate guide to real estate investing, just whatever it is that my demographic wants to learn about. I'm just going to have it under the Make It Keep It brand, because nobody in my space is doing that. There are a couple other doctors trying to publish. They don't really know what they're doing. They might have a podcast that's gaining some traction, making money off of ads, but nobody out there has a series of books. I'm just going to milk it for everything that it's worth and kind of put the exclamation point on what I've already done. That's my plan.
I love it. Congratulations on that. Let me ask a couple of questions, and hopefully you feel comfortable answering some of these. So, when we had this conversation months and months ago, you obviously were, moving from the private equity thing to raising money on your own, and you have relationships with doctors like in your sphere. And because of their trust in you, you could get them to invest with you. But obviously, to be able to scale that business required you to go outside of your sphere of influence, right? And you needed something that would position you as the authority. That's where Make It Keep It came in. Can you tell us, in a period in the last few months, for example, you shared some pretty remarkable numbers with me. I mean, how much have you been able to raise using your book? Do you feel comfortable talking about that?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell whether it's from the book or if they were a referral or not. But probably since last May, I don't know, about like maybe 2-3 million, something like that. Well, verbal commitments for more, but I actually had to go out there and put some more deals together. So
that's amazing. Well, let's try to, try to take out the referrals, and be conservative. Have you raised 7 figures just through the relationships and the trust that you've built with the book?
Yeah, probably half of that last year were new people.
Fantastic.
It just feels like the conversion is faster, because usually you guys probably talk about this too, but you got to do a certain amount of touches to close a cold lead. Usually it's like 5 or 7.
Right.
Now, it's like 1 or 2 with the book. So
yeah.
It helps speed the process. So
that's beautiful.
That's worth it for me.
Yeah. Congratulations. One of the things that we talk about, people talk about the book as a big business card. It is so not that. I mean, I shudder a little when I hear that, because if that's how you're using it, then you're missing out. But everything that you do, any person that you touch, that could be a referral partner, that could be a potential business partner, that could invest in what you're doing, the book needs to go in their hands, because it will do 2 things. One, it will accelerate the closing, which you've seen happen. But number 2, it will get you opportunities like you've shared already that you didn't even know were there, because people will now see you as a subject matter expert. And so they'll start bringing you stuff that, it could lead to much bigger opportunities. By the way, I love the idea of, kind of branding this idea and then open it up for all the things that doctors and even practitioners need, like wealth preservation and obviously, that you could go in the direction of the stock market, you can go in the direction of real estate. There are lots of areas that you could kind of move in. So beautiful. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts? And any questions? So we'll open up the chat. If you do have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat box, and I want to answer it for you while we have the doctor on, because he is busy investing in millions of dollars in real estate. He's doing a flip in Bel Air outside of Beverly Hills, which is crazy. So I know you're going to be coming to LA to handle that. That's going to be exciting. I'll get a chance to see you. But anything else to share, just in cool ways maybe you've used the book, besides just, physically putting it in a doctor's hands, mailing it to them, that sort of thing?
Have I used it? You're saying how I use it in other ways, or?
Yeah, like how have you used it? Have you actually mailed it to people? Have you physically put it into people's hands? But what other ways have you used it to get people in touch with you?
Well, I definitely have it on my email newsletter. And at the bottom of every one, it's like, hey, I've been a bestseller for 3 months. And next month, hey, it's been a bestseller for 4 months now.
Nice.
And then, people call me and just say, hey, I didn't know that you did that. That's pretty awesome. So I just kind of hammer that into their head. Sometimes if I just want to touch base with somebody and they're kind of cold, if I need to get somebody's email, I'll say, hey, do you mind taking a look at my book? If you give me your email, I'll send you a link to where you can get it for 99 cents. So it's kind of a smoother way to
Nice.
email and say, hey, can you give me your email so I could blast you with a bunch of deals and you get back for some money? So a little bit smoother, and it also, from right up front, after I get that email, they get hit in the face with my book and they see that I actually know what I'm talking about, and then it starts opening up a conversation from that. And just to get other people talking, so other people start referring people to me. So even if I give it to nurses or people that aren't even in healthcare, eventually they're going to start bringing opportunities to me and referring people to me. So
Love it.
It's kind of like throwing a pebble in a stream. It just kind of starts that ripple effect. So that's what happens every time I flash the book somewhere.
Yeah. Beautiful. Hey, brother, congratulations. I know I told you this would be about 10 or 15 minutes or so I don't want to take any more of your time. I don't see any questions. If we have any, I'll do my best to answer them for everyone. And certainly you're welcome to stay on if you want. But thank you, because, I think you're a great example of using the book to really build trust, which is, for somebody looking for big checks. And I know the checks that you're getting from people are six-figure plus checks. And that's not easy. A great deal of trust has to be in that relationship. And of course, your book has helped you build that. So again, hey, congratulations. I can't wait to hear all the other cool things that you're doing with it.
Thanks. Appreciate it. And actually, I do have a meeting to go to with a real estate broker who's waiting in the lobby. So
Love it.
Move it. So
love it. Congratulations. Hey, thanks for taking a few minutes with us, brother. And I'll see you when you're in LA. Have a great day.
Thanks. See you later.
All right. Bye-bye. Great stuff there, guys. Hopefully that was super helpful for you. A bunch of us on. Every week what I want to try to do is give you some ways that people are using their books that we've done for them to launch, make bestsellers, get them publicity, etc., and how you can replicate that. Now, you may not be a doctor looking to raise money from doctors, but you have to be creative in your thinking and use that creativity in your own business. By the way, I'm looking at my image on there and I see this giant cut on my nose. Just so you know, I am an MMA fighter on the weekends. And so the first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. Actually, I'm totally kidding. I have a puppy with very sharp teeth, and I was kissing her, and she reached up and went right on my nose. So there you go. The terrible thing is I'm flying to San Francisco tomorrow, and I have a TV appearance. So hopefully they'll be able to, put some stuff on there so I don't look like I don't know what I look like, but look like was in a domestic violence incident or something like that. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So what else can I answer for you? Tell me about where things are at right now for your book, for your business. What can I help you with? Gene likes the MMA story. Just thought of it on the spot. So there you go. I hope the stuff with Amir was really helpful. I mean, his book is great, but in one sense, it's no greater than the book that you can write and that you're writing, because he is a subject matter expert on the subject of wealth preservation and growth for doctors. And as a doctor himself and somebody that's done this for himself, he has firsthand experience. You have firsthand experience in your thing. So the book is all about building that trust, building that celebrity authority. Doctors know, your potential clients know, it's hard to write a book. They're really smart people and they don't write books. Your clients are really smart people and they're not best-selling authors. So when you come to them as a best-selling author, they're going to see you as, the authority, the go-to expert in that particular topic. So let's go ahead and open it up to questions. I'm here for you during this time for BSP University. I want to answer your questions and help you in any way that I can. So Skylar, hi Skylar. Skylar has a question. Eileen says, love the puppy story. Yeah, that's the actual true story. Skylar is asking, when mailing our books to TV stations, what should be on the handwritten note? Do you have examples in the back office? Not really, Skylar. The handwritten note is just a very personal reference. So what we recommend, obviously, you want to get contact information. So you want to, put it in the right person's hands. You're going to want some type of, and this is not an example, but you're going to want some what we would call a one sheet. Examples of those are in the back office, or your segment proposal. So when you send a copy of your book, you'll want to send something professional, like, here's my segment, my proposed segment for your TV show. But then besides that, you want a handwritten note. So you want something professional that's, all, formatted beautifully with images or whatever. One-page segment proposal, examples in the BSP membership area, and then something personal. And the handwritten note is just, if you had any contact with them, you want to mention that contact. Probably you didn't. So you simply want to say, hey, I just want you to know that I'm very, very grateful that you took a moment to look at my book, to read my segment proposal. I know that you're very busy, and I just want to let you know I'm grateful, Rob. Just expressing the obvious, your gratitude that they took a moment out and looked at your book and looked at your segment proposal. That's all. So it's just very personal, expressing your gratitude. That is it, Skylar. So hopefully that makes sense. And obviously, you only need 2 sentences, 1 sentence, a paragraph at most. That's it. You don't want to make it cumbersome for them to read it. You don't want to write your biography. It's just thank you, is what it is. So Gene is asking, my manuscript's not even halfway done, but I already have a group of people that want to read my book. What is the best way to work this list? So fantastic. So Gene, probably we need to have a little conversation. So why don't I do this? If it's okay with you, how about I unmute you and we talk a little bit about who these people are? Is that okay? So Gene, are you there? I just unmuted you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right. So Gene, tell me about who these people are. Are these people potential buyers of your thing? And what is your thing? Give me some feedback on that.
Actually, they are basically two. There's a third group, which is family. But
yeah, let's leave them out.
Let's leave them out. And then there is a group that I meet in workshops. So there are more general talks, and it could be a speaking gig that I had.
Yep.
So that's one group. And the other vast majority is the clients that I already work with. So that I think I know how to handle those.
Okay.
The clients, but it's more the group that you randomly meet. They have heard your name. They might have come across one of your workshops.
Good. So tell me specifically, tell everybody, what is it that you do your workshops on? What is it that you help people with? What is your kind of superpower?
Well, I'm not sure it's my superpower, but I try to empower specifically women with an abuse history,
okay,
to find their passion back. And they're typically out of therapy, but they still feel very stuck. So I help them through 2 types of workshop. One is a self-defense class, but it's more a mental self-defense than the real MMA, which I know you're an expert in right now.
Funny.
So I do that too, by the way, but not on the weekends. And then the other one is our more dance-related classes, where people get more feeling in their body, how to use their body and be more trustful with their body again. So those are the 2 things where I meet people. There's a lot of details behind it, but that's kind of, I draw people in more from a general post that I do on Facebook and advertisement stuff like that.
Excellent. So if people are approaching you because of your workshops that you're already doing or speaking engagement that you've done, the assumption is that you're speaking on these topics, right?
Yep.
And so the people that are approaching you are people that are interested in, maybe taking next steps with you.
Yes.
So you need a plan to ascend those people. Either it's a funnel, something online, or it's as simple as a plan, something that may lead to a phone call. So let me give you a thought on how we help our authors with speaking engagements to create a way to what we would call maybe grease the slide, so that people slide right on into being your clients, right? So when you do a speaking engagement, typically speaking, most speaking engagements are 45 minutes, an hour, something like that. And you, of course, can't talk about your whole body of work in 45 or 60 minutes. No one can. And in many speaking engagements, maybe you're being paid, but oftentimes you can't pitch directly the thing that, like, hey, become my client and give them a hard pitch. Can't do that. Sometimes you can, but most of the time not. So what we suggest is this. We suggest that you have something of value to offer at the end of your speaking engagement that gets you in direct contact with the people that are most likely to ascend into your coaching or consulting program. We might call that a success pack. So if you're doing, if you're doing a workshop, or let's say you're doing a speaking engagement on self-defense or on, overcoming some type of traumatic issue, then you might tell them at the end, you might say something like this. You might say, I've been speaking for 40 or 45 minutes, and I've given you, in that period of time, my best stuff, the best I could give you in that period. But you and I both know that there's a lot more that you probably need on this subject. So here's what I have as my gift to you. I want to give you, first of all, a copy of my best-selling book. Now, I know yours isn't done yet. So, I'll give you an alternative. But for anybody that already has their book done, you're going to say, I want to give you a copy of my best-selling book. What you may say, Gene, is I want to give you, you might call it, my manuscript on whatever the workshop topic was, my manuscript on the 5 steps to overcoming abuse, a previous abusive situation, something like that. So first and foremost, I want to give you my overcoming challenge success pack. That sounds lame, but you come up with a better, better title than that. And in that success pack, I'm going to give you a copy of my best-selling book. I also want to give you a CD of the 5 biggest mistakes people make that keeps them stuck in blank. Okay? Now, this, by the way, is something you can create in 30 minutes, and there is a training in the BSP office area on how to do it. It doesn't have to be a physical CD. It can be an MP3 that you deliver to them.
Yep.
And then the last thing you're going to say, and this is the magic, this is the connection piece. The last thing you're going to say is, and probably the most valuable thing I can give you is I want to give you 30 minutes of my time in an overcoming abuse strategy call, or whatever the title is, strategy call. And on that call, we're going to look at the things that currently you're stuck in and how you can overcome any kind of issues that you have in that thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Now, here's also how all of this works. Number one, most of those people are going to want that. And 10 minutes after your speech, they're going to forget that they wanted it. And they're going to lunch, or they're getting coffee, or they're going to the next speech. So here's what you have to do. You have to have, and I like physical paper stuff. So I like having actual things for people to fill out. So what I recommend to my clients is they say, now, I didn't bring enough books and CDs and all of that because I didn't know how many people would be interested in getting that. So what I want to do is I have some people that are going to hand out these forms. And anybody that wants this free success pack, I need you to just fill out your information, and I will send you this information and then get you scheduled for a call with me. Now, here's what this does for you. Just give you the whole psychology. You're going to have on the form a place for their name, their email address, their telephone number, but then you're going to have a couple of questions on there. And those questions are going to be your qualifying questions that help you to determine if that person is a good fit for your program. So my qualifying questions might be something like, have you currently written a book? Yes or no? What is your budget for publishing and marketing your book? And then I might have some multiple choice answers: 1 to 5,000, 5 to 10,000, 10 to 30,000, as an example. And then, the last thing might be, what are the best days to contact you for our strategy call? Now, here's what this does. Obviously, and by the way, I've had clients close 80% of the room into one of these forms, okay? And now you've collected all of this information, but you have very, very specific questions that have been answered that determine if this person's a good fit for your program. So who do you call first? You call the person that answered the questions that determine that they're a good fit. And on that one-on-one call, you'll be able to transition many of those people into your client and coaching and consulting business. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
So,
Cool.
I mean, I took a long time to describe that,
No, I
but
love it.
you know, it's really otherwise, if you speak a lot, and I know, you know, most of us want to use our books to get speaking engagements, and you don't have a way to transition the most excited people into like a one-on-one call with you. Now, again, that's if you're selling something expensive. If you're selling something for $100 or $200, you don't want to have to speak to people on the phone for that. But if you're selling some type of coaching or consulting or workshop that's thousands of dollars, you got to get on the phone with them to do that. And this is the best way to take advantage of every speaking opportunity that you get. I mean, you will turn a speaking engagement from a couple $1,000 into tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. The last engagement I did in Hawaii, where I did something like this, at this moment, I've already brought in about $60,000 worth of business just from that one 90-minute presentation. And I still have several clients that I'm still following up on. So it could get to $100,000 in revenue from one gig that I did. So you guys can do the exact same thing with this strategy. Is that?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I've already forgotten the question you asked because I've been talking so long, but does
you actually addressed a big part of the question. Some parts I already did, Rob, but I think you gave it another, good perspective and framework. So thank you for that. Yeah, I will do that. And for the rest, I just, simply keep track of the name who people who ask, hey, I want to have your book when it's ready, right?
Yes. Yeah.
When it is, but sure.
Well, do that, but also try to move them, into a one-on-one call, and if you, by the way, if you don't have a strategy, and I'm sure you do because you're already doing this, but if you want a really good non-salesy strategy on how you can do these consultative sales calls, all that training is in the back office too. It's called high ticket coaching programs, or how to do high ticket selling. And it's a very consultative approach. It's an approach that we use very successfully, and you can use it, and anyone here can use it and adapt it to your own kind of client attraction. So
fantastic, Rob.
Good, brother. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much. Good.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to mute you back and everybody else, and then let's go back to the questions, and there are quite a few now. So Steve is asking, as we discussed on email, can you comment on how you used webinars to drive your business? Thank you, Steve. I asked Steve to be on the call because he was specifically emailing me, and I said, rather than trying to do this via email, let's do it on the call so that we can record it and so that everybody else that's on can, benefit from it. So Steve, if it's okay, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you because I know your question was a little bit more specific than that. And also I want to have some dialogue with you and make sure that I'm answering your question. So do me a favor, be really specific about what you're looking at doing with webinars and what you want to know from me. Can you hear me, by the way, Steve?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. Beautiful.
Right.
How are you, my friend?
Good. Doing good. Thank you. By the way, a quick pitch, and I hope you don't mind this.
No, go ahead.
I visited Rob, about 3 months ago?
Yep, right? Yep.
And it was phenomenal. So if anybody has a chance to go visit him at his office, it's well worth it.
Please do. I mean, it seems like no one visits us unless we schedule them for a TV appearance out here. Steve is one of our done-for-you clients, and so we had I think we had some TV appearances for you, and you flew out, right? Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
Oftentimes I never get to meet my clients because they want to do TV near their home. They're not willing to travel out. So I'd love it if you come. That'd be great.
Okay. To explain, I basically provide consulting services, and one of the problems that I've had is that my consulting services are in the, upwards of $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. So I'm having a difficult time getting clients engaged with me because they haven't really experienced me. So what I've decided to do is to try and come up with a low-end entry point. And that low-end entry point, Rob, is very much like what you do in your training program. I'm talking about establishing a series of training programs that clients can pay to sign up for, and to then get education on business strategy, which is, of course, my topic. So I know that you've got all these things in there. I came to you through a webinar. So there's two questions I'm trying to figure out. First of all, how did you go about putting together all of your training programs? I mean, did you have a vendor that you used and that you would recommend? And then the same thing would be from a webinar standpoint. How did you organize the webinars in order to get your client base?
Love it. These are great questions. And these are questions I love because, for my clients, the book is, for our done for you clients, we're going to do all of this for you, right? So the thing that I get excited about is always what happens after the book, because with a typical publisher, the book is the end of the story. With us, the book is the beginning of the story. We want you to do with the book to make an impact on the world, to make an impact on your world financially and in your own sense of independence and impact. So I love these kinds of questions. So two specific questions. You asked about the training program. So we have a bunch of different training that we've done over time. The very first training program that I sold is our Publish, Promote, and Profit program. And I actually did that about 18 months or so ago. And I actually sold that program before I ever created it, which is what I recommend that you do. Now, how do you do that? Okay, so how do you do it and why do you do it? So let's start with the why. The reason you want to sell your thing first is because you don't want to spend weeks and months and sometimes years to craft and create something that the market hasn't already voted with their dollars that they're interested in. So I wanted to make sure before I created this program and invested a lot of time and energy and monetary resources, I wanted to make sure that people wanted to buy it. So I actually launched to my list 18 months, maybe 2 years ago now, this idea of, kind of the precursor to BSP University. And that was that I would sell this Publish, Promote, and Profit course, which would cover, you guys have seen the latest version of that course, but it's everything on how to get your book ghostwritten, launch the book to bestseller. This was before we had the software built. So gosh, you may be going back close to 3 years ago now. And then everything to get your own PR and ongoing stuff, ongoing attraction for TV, radio, et cetera. So I launched that to my list, and I actually sold it at that time for $1,197. I sold 16 or 18, I can't remember how many. So I made about 20 grand on the program, maybe 18, 20, somewhere in that range. And then I actually, as an incentive, I called this an incentive to people. I said that here's how this program is going to be done. This program is going to be done live with you. And so the added incentive or benefit to you is you actually get me rather than a recorded version of me. And so what I did is every week they got a new module. And in those modules, I taught the specifics of what they needed. And then I did a Q&A with them to get all of their questions answered. And oftentimes their questions meant we had to create some additional teachings to that particular module because I didn't know that they would have those questions because it was the first time I was doing it. So how did I create it? I used ClickFunnels from a technology standpoint to manage all of my membership area and program. And if you don't use ClickFunnels, you should. I use it. I don't own it. I don't make, money. Russell makes the money from it. If you're interested, I can give you a link to ClickFunnels and you can get kind of a special offer with it. I can put that somewhere. I can go ahead and put it in the Facebook group for everybody, for example. So from a technology standpoint, we use ClickFunnels to manage the membership area that has all the modules. That's the BSP University area now that you can go into. And I actually created that course after I sold it because I wanted to make sure that people would be interested in buying it. So that's the course, okay? By the way, for those of you that are in BSP University and we're not actually doing all the work for you, You came in either through email with me emailing the list, or maybe you saw an ad or something like that, or maybe you set a strategy session call and you spoke to David, my author coach. What we're doing now with all of the content I've created and BSP University is we are marketing that online via Facebook ads and through webinars. So this will segue into your second question, Steve, and that's the whole, how do you outline and create and organize the webinar to actually create a result? So there are two ways that you can think of a webinar and as far as results go. And that is either A, the result that you're looking for from the webinar or the training that you're doing is you want to sell a product directly right on that training, that recorded webinar, or that live one. As you came in, whenever I sell the high ticket, I do it live. But whenever I sell products, I do that through a recorded webinar. So you either are selling a product or you're selling a service or something directly on the webinar where you're giving the price and you're telling them how they have to buy, or B, you're selling a phone call with you. Okay. And I don't want to underestimate the power of that. So in your consulting business, Steve, you may not just think about selling a course or something lower ticket. You may want to sell directly into a strategy session call. And so I did a training on this I did a bunch of trainings on this. I believe it's in BSP University back office, but if it is not, I have it in another membership area because there's another program that I sell, and I will give it to all of you guys if you're interested in it. And that's how to break down and organize your webinars, because there's kind of four key segments of your webinar to get to the point where you're closing and you're selling. So I'll give you that training. The four elements in essence are your open, which there are certain elements in your opening 15 minutes. This is in a 60-minute webinar. And then the two mid segments are all about content. So you have 30 minutes of content that you're teaching, 10, 10, and 10. Usually it's 3 content pieces. And then your last 15-minute quadrant is all about the close and all about the offer. I give great detail in about a 90-minute training that I did on each one of those quadrants. And I'll get you that training, Steve, and I'll give it to everybody that is interested in it. So without going into a super great detail, I can't do it in 10 or 15 minutes anyway, but I'll give you that training so you can see exactly how I created it. Is that helpful?
Sure. And Rob, from a kind of like a process standpoint, do you use a certain vendor for managing the actual webinar, or do you set that up yourself? How do you do that?
We do it all internally. It's not difficult. We use GoToWebinar. However, GoToWebinar is a monthly fee. I think the lowest is $99 or $97 a month. We have a larger account because we have larger attendance. I think that allows for an attendance of up to 100. The thing about other options, and this is changing, believe it or not, just in the last 10 days, is that other options, one of those options is something called a Webinar Jam, which was created by a friend of mine, Mike Filsame, and at the time, his partner, Andy Jenkins. The problem with Webinar Jam, it's a one-time fee, which is great. But the problem is it has been based on the YouTube platform, which there's a time lag. And on my webinars and what I teach on how to do a webinar, I like a lot of direct engagement. So I ask a question and I want people to give me an answer back, and I read the answers back. On Webinar Jam in the past, there was a 1-minute lag. So you literally couldn't have any direct dialogue or discourse with people, which I did not like, because the people you end up talking to are your buyers. Those are the people that are most interested. So now I said that this is changing because Google is actually, as the owner of YouTube, they're actually changing the platform, and they're moving the platform to YouTube Live, which now with YouTube Live, there is actually no lag, and there's a direct way to correspond, immediately to one another with no lag in time. I have a client right now that's running webinars as a test to see if that will work. If it does work, then we're going to kill our GoToWebinar account and just start using Webinar Jam for everything. But I do recommend GoToWebinar right now, and the technology is simple. It's not complicated. You can run it all by yourself. It's not something that you need a whole team to do.
Okay.
That was a heck of a long answer to a very simple question, wasn't it?
Thanks for the detail. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, my friend. Any other questions? Does that kind of cover it?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
I'll get you the whole training. Don't worry, and I'll send you a link to that on how to create your webinar.
Great. Thanks.
Awesome. You're welcome. I'll mute you again. Good. So we have some other questions. So Yakub says, I was surprised to hear last week that you're putting $19.95 street price on your new book. Now, maybe it's more of a promotion thing for you, but the book I want to launch is one that I want a lot of people to buy. So I think it has to fit the niche. In my case, Sufi spiritual poetry books of a similar length. So Yakub, I don't know if what you're saying is that $19.95 is too cheap or too expensive of a price. We always recommend somewhere in between $19.95 and $24.95. The only time we recommend much higher than that is if the book itself is like a cookbook or something that's loaded with pictures and images, maybe a photography book or a cookbook, because those books tend to be much more expensive to print. So, I don't remember saying that. I guess you're talking about the Kevin Harrington book that I co-authored and I launched for Kevin. I don't remember saying that we're going to do it at $19.95. I think we're going to do it at $24.95, but $19.95 to $24.95 is the sweet spot that we recommend that people stay in. If you have a really hungry audience and you've looked around and done some market research in your market on these spiritual poetry books, and you see that those books are selling for a lot more, then you can ask a lot more. If, on the other hand, you see that the market has been set at a lower number, then you're going to be hard pressed unless you have a really fervent following. You're going to be hard pressed to sell it for much more than the market price of that. So that's why we recommend $19.95 to $24.95. It's kind of the market price for a typical coaching book. And it usually we recommend $24.95 to speakers, because then a speaker can go in and offer a discount at $20 and say, hey, if you had to go online and buy it, it's $25 or $30, and we're giving you a discount at $20. So there's lots of reasons to adjust the pricing based on what you're trying to do with the book. So hopefully that answers your question. If it doesn't, do me a favor and go back into chat and ask, and I'll try to answer it a little bit differently. Yehoshua says, last year my book, Who Loves You the Most of All, through your mentoring, or last year you launched it, I guess. Thanks. Book is published in the U.S., paperback on Lightning Source. Can you recommend someone to print it and do fulfillment in the U.S.? Part of my message got deleted. My book became an Amazon bestseller through following your steps. Got it. Can you recommend someone to print it and do fulfillment? So we recommend for fulfillment, CreateSpace for all the soft cover, Yehoshua. So for any of the soft cover, you want to have it on CreateSpace, which is Amazon's partner. That's print on demand. They're fantastic, because anybody that wants the print version of the book does not have to go through a whole fulfillment process. All they have to do is click buy, and the money shows up in your account. You don't have to house it. You don't have to fulfill it. Amazon will do all the fulfillment for you. So for the digital version, Amazon Kindle. For the soft cover version, Amazon CreateSpace.com. And for the hardcover version, you already have Lightning Source, which is Ingram Publishing. So Ingram is who you want to use if you do want to print hardcover books. So Ingram for the hardcover, which is part of Lightning Source, CreateSpace for the soft cover, and then Kindle, of course, for the digital. That's the focus. Skylar says, incredible info. Is this video going to be in the back office? 100%, Skylar. I remembered to press record. A couple of times I didn't, so this time I did. Gene says, you are a superstar inside and outside the fighting cage. Thank you, Gene. Love that. Thank you. It's funny, in the book, The 5 Love Languages, one of my kind of primary love language is words of affirmation. So you know how to get to me, baby. I mean, when people say nice things about me, man, I just love it. Anyway, giving you a secret right there. But that's, we all have our thing, right? My wife, it's gifts. There you go. Me, I don't care about gifts. I care about words. Gene, send us the ClickFunnels link. You got it, Gene. So I'll put that in the Facebook area. And you know what? I'll also keep kind of a dedicated link in the BSP area. So BSP University for the ClickFunnels link and the Facebook page. Always have homework after these meetings. So you got it. I'll take care of that, Gene. Liam says, hey, Rob, I'm in need of a 5 to 10 minute chat via phone after this. I'm interested in upping my game with BSPU. Happy to do that, Liam. Do me a favor. Just go ahead and shoot me an email, rob@bestsellerpublishing.org. I just sent that to Amy Dix. Amy, you already have my email address. Let me send it to everybody. So you guys all have my email address. There you go. There's my email address. Liam, go ahead and just shoot me an email and I'll get that set up for you, my friend. Totally glad to do it. Yakub, okay, that would be too much for my market. There you go. So, look at the market, keep the price in terms of where your market would be. Yehoshua says, I want to print it in hardcover. Then you want to go with Ingram, Ingram, Ingram. So I'll go ahead and put that in there as well. It's Ingram, and that's who you want to go with for hardcover. And they also have one of the biggest distribution networks for bookstores in the world. So that's a good place for you to work with there for your hardcover. Yehoshua, Lightning Source does hardcover, which is print on demand and very expensive. Any other hardcover printers to suggest? Okay, so another hardcover printer is disc.com. My friend, I'm typing it in for everyone. My friend Joe Foley over there is the CEO. Just tell him that I sent you. He's fantastic. Anytime you need any kind of physical products as well, they do everything. So, I did like CD sets and DVD sets when I had various products that I was selling in other spaces. And they did all of that for us. And it was pretty inexpensive relative to a lot of others. Just want to shut that off. So that's another place potentially, Yehoshua, that you can use. Not just Ingram, but try disk.com. Joe Foley is the CEO. Just tell him that you work with Bestseller Publishing and with me, and he'll give you, the best price that he can. He's a great, great, great guy. Motivated Michael, hello, awesome person. I love that. Michael always starts his messages that way. Last week I asked about links in the digital book release to capture emails. I have no idea how to do this. Will you all do this for me as a done-for-you client? We don't do that part of it, Michael, as a done-for-you client. Okay, excuse me. So let me just reread it. I'm thinking you're talking about creating like websites. So you're talking about in the book itself. So the answer is yes. We'll format the book so that those links are in there, but you need the link, you need where it's going to have a website. We use ClickFunnels, and I recommend ClickFunnels, but that ClickFunnels page is where the link in the book is directing people to. I have some training on that. If you don't have ClickFunnels, you need it, or you need a web developer to build you a web page. In other words, just to take a step back. So what we recommend to all of our clients, especially if you're in coaching, consulting, service, nonfiction related businesses, is you want to take people off of the book and to you and your website so you can start communicating directly with them via email. How do you do that? Well, you may have a chapter. I'll just pull out a chapter. You may have a chapter on Investing 101. And at the end of the chapter, you may have some resources. And the resources are, hey, I've created a free video series going deeper into Investing 101. If you would like my free video series, go to motivatedmichael.com/video. And then when someone clicks that motivatedmichael.com, you should look for that domain, by the way, if you don't already have it, /video, then they're going to be directed to a page that you have to create, either through a web developer or through a program like ClickFunnels. And that is going to say, okay, hey, you've landed on the page offering my free video series. Put your email address in here and you'll get my free video series. So again, we have all of these funnels that we can share with you, but you need to own ClickFunnels for us to share the funnels with you, or you need a web developer to build these things out. So Michael, let me know that, and I can unmute you. Let me know that that made sense. So Mike, are you there? Mike, are you there, brother? Or maybe you don't have, last time I think you didn't have a mic. So you may not have a mic. Whoa. You sound like I can't hear I can't make out anything you're saying. It's not picking it up. Try it again. No, it sounds like I'm it doesn't sound very, I can't understand it. I'm going to mute you again. I'm sorry, brother. Do me a favor. Amy's like, do me a favor. I mean, I'm happy to get on the phone with you. I mean, you're done for you client. And so we want to help you get all of this set up. Just to be clear again, what you need, what we can help you with is we can help you with, how to do that within your book, take care of the formatting in your book. But when someone leaves the book, you have to have your own website in place. And we recommend ClickFunnels because it's an easy way. They have funnels all in place with all of these landing pages and lead capture pages and all that stuff. So, if you want, go ahead and shoot me a direct email. You got my email address, or call the office and we can talk about how to do that. I'll also put the link for ClickFunnels in the Facebook group, and I'll put it in the back office for everybody too. So hopefully that helps, brother. But the mic was not working, I can tell you. So, wow, great stuff. We've been going about 55 minutes. So if you like, I don't have any other questions. If you like, we can call it. I'm happy to maybe do one more question if you have something specific along this topic. But I think really, really good stuff today, at least stuff I like to talk about. So hopefully it was helpful for you guys. So what else can I answer for you really quick? And if there isn't anything specific there, then we'll go ahead and close it out and save this, and then we'll get it posted in the membership area with all the stuff that I said I'd get you. So I'm going to get you the webinar training. I'm going to get you the ClickFunnels link, and I'm going to put that both in the Facebook page and in the back office. So hopefully that's helpful. Yehoshua says, thanks. Looks like no more questions. So great call this week. Tomorrow I leave for San Francisco. I'm doing a TV appearance on CBS in San Francisco. I'm excited about that. I hope they have makeup for this. San Francisco is like a top 8 market in the United States. So it's the biggest market I've been in thus far. So I'm pretty excited about that appearance. And I'm going up with my 2 older boys. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Go out to eat with those guys. So if there's anything we can do for you, if you need anything, you know how to contact us. Otherwise, we're going to be right back here next Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. You guys have a great week. Talk to you soon.